You know, I wonder if you're also tired of seeing the perfect lives of all those people you follow on social media, how they're achieving remarkable things that both inspire you and somehow also make you feel like you've done nothing important with your life. No matter who you are, no matter what amazing things you've done in the past, it always feels like there's someone else out there doing something better, something even crazier. How come? Why does this happen? Okay, maybe it's kind of obvious, but our attention as humans is very limited. And there's just no way we can process the waves of info flowing out of the internet and social media all at once. So what happens? Basically, all these platforms continue to refine their algorithm so that only the most exceptional pieces of information actually make it through. I'm talking about the 99.99th percentile of interesting stuff, and we love it and we consume it all day. But what does this mean then? All of a sudden, we start seeing the exceptional as the new normal, and we start to expect and crave the highest forms of experience all day, every day, when in fact, most of life takes place in the middle of the bell curve. What we define as an average life, doing normal, everyday things with normal, everyday people. And I wonder, when did that become so wrong? Now, I'm not advocating for mediocrity, and if you know me, you know I'm all about continuing to grow and becoming our best selves. But when it comes to the growth game and any skill really, if we start out already expecting to be extraordinary, then we're gonna run smack into that wall of disappointment way quicker, and maybe we'll consider quitting before we even have a chance to start. So today, I wanna talk about why it's okay to be average, how living an average everyday life should be celebrated, and also why accepting all of that will help you grow even faster than before. Let's go. So I think we can all agree that we have our own strengths and weaknesses, no matter how big or small. But fact is, most of us are average at most things. If you're really exceptional at something, like chemistry problems, or maybe you do a bunch of triathlons, or even stock trading, chances are you're maybe average or below average at other things in life. It's just how it goes. To be really good at something, no matter what it is, takes a lot of time and energy. And since those are limited resources, very few of us are extraordinary at more than one thing, if anything at all. Yeah, even the most successful person you know is bad at other things too. Sure, maybe the multimillionaire or that star athlete seems to have it all, but we don't know what's happening in their personal lives. Maybe it's obvious again, but it's really just the extremes that get all the publicity. We tend to hear mostly about all these positive things that happened, but never really understand the full story. Okay, so what does this all mean then? Basically, yeah, we should always try and set ambitious goals for ourselves, but it's also okay to have mediocre results. It's okay to be average at something because everyone starts somewhere and everyone grows at different rates too. Sometimes there are late bloomers that skyrocket later on in their lives. And sometimes there's also people that start off like prodigies but really taper off later in life. Everyone has their own journey, and being average at something is just an expected part of that journey. Where I think it's a problem is when people start feeling entitled to be extraordinary because they're only exposed to exceptional results being showcased online and every time they consume social media. When in reality, the amount of time everyone spends being average at what they're trying to do is really the vast majority of life. Which brings me to my next point, and that is, don't expect greatness. To quote Mark Manson from one of his articles I read, there's a psychological tyranny in our culture today, a sense that we must always be proving that we're special, unique, exceptional, all the time, no matter what. And I wonder, since when did being average become the new standard of failure? It's almost like the worst place to be is right in the middle of that bell curve. I think a lot of people are afraid to accept mediocrity because they think that if they believe they're average at something, then they'll never achieve anything or improve their lives. Which, yeah, I get is a scary thought, but is it really true that life is only worthwhile if it's notable or great? And if we accept this, then does that mean that most of the human population is worthless? Sounds pretty dark to me. Here's the actual secret to being great at something. Don't believe that you're special, and instead become obsessed with improvement. And yeah, it's ironic because becoming obsessed with improvement usually comes from the belief that you're not special at all. In fact, it seems like the people who improve the fastest know that they're pretty average in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, totally, I know that for some people out there, yeah, you can pick up things naturally and way faster than other people might, which is great because then you found your strength. But just because you're naturally talented at something still doesn't mean that you should expect greatness. It just means that you found a great potential path, and it's still your job to walk diligently down that path, while of course staying humble, because chances are you're not talented at everything in life. None of us are. And no matter who you are, once you accept that feeling average is a very natural part of the journey, the pressure of feeling like you have to be the next big thing, that curse of perfectionism, will be gone. And maybe then you'll have the power to reach your ambitious goals with no judgment or lofty expectations. distractions. Okay, the last point I want to mention too is something related to what you might think of when you are imagining an average life. And that's the mundane day-to-day tasks. Yeah, I totally get it. I want the life I see on social media too. The highlight reel from everyone you know and follow. And if we get this, maybe then we'll be satisfied, right? Sounds pretty nice. But guess what? The majority of life for most people is pretty fucking boring. We're basically sleeping for a third of the day, on the road for a huge chunk of our lives, doing chores all the time. And yeah, even if you're someone that's swearing to work hard so that you never have to do any of this boring shit, maybe you'll succeed one day. And I hope you do. But until then, you're probably still gonna have to do a lot of that boring shit. I know I do. But something really cool I learned from a book I read earlier this year is that instead of running from boredom, maybe we should learn to embrace it. The book is called The Power of Now, and it's actually one of my favorite books about living in the present. So I'll drop a link down below and you can check it out sometime. But the point is, our minds are the one that's constantly seeking this stimulation, where instead we can actually learn to find peace in any moment just by embracing the present. Yeah, maybe it's counterintuitive, but there is peace in doing things like the dishes, and peace in doing errands, even peace in just taking a shower after a long day. So what is it about living an average, boring life that gets so demonized in today's culture when all the peace that you need to find is right in front of us? I don't think we need to be great or exceptional to be happy. I think we just need to love that adventure so that we can be happy now in our average existence, maybe be just as happy when we achieve something extraordinary too. All right, thanks for sticking till the end. I also talked about my own view on personal growth in a past video here, which goes into a lot of the similar stuff that I talked about in this video, but in even more detail. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check it out. All right, see you soon.